There's a spot on the floor that's only 15 feet from the rim. Nobody's guarding it. Nobody's allowed to touch you. It is the easiest shot in all of basketball. And in the NBA Finals, it might be the scariest place on earth. So here's the question I wanted to answer with actual numbers. Does the pressure of the finals really make players miss free throws, or is that a myth we all just repeat? We've all heard the story 1,000 times. The lights get bright, the stakes get huge, and even great shooters start bricking freebies at the line. It feels true, it sounds true, so I pulled the free throw data from the last 5 finals to see if the choke is real. And the answer honestly flipped what I expected. This is Game is Culture. Real quick before we dig in, if you like breakdowns that actually show the math instead of just yelling takes at you, go hit subscribe. It's free and it genuinely helps, so click it. First, the myth. Does pressure tank the percentage? Here's the test. Across the last 5 finals, teams shot 78.9% from the free throw line. And in a normal regular season, the league sits right around 78. So those two bars are basically the same height. The biggest pressure in the sport, and the line barely flinches. On average, nobody chokes. So the myth, the version where pressure turns everybody into a bricklayer, is just false. The average free throw in the finals is the same money it is in January, which leaves us with a real puzzle. If the percentage doesn't drop, then why does the free throw line decide so many of these series? Why does it still feel terrifying? Because the fear was never in the average, it's in the spread. Watch what happens when you split that average back into individual teams. Phoenix shot 86% at the line in their finals. Elite. But Milwaukee shot 73, and Dallas just 68. So the gap between the best and the worst free throw team in the finals is almost 18 full points. The average is calm. The teams underneath it are anything but. So this is the real truth about the free throw line. It doesn't make everyone choke. It exposes the teams that were always weak there. Pressure doesn't invent the flaw. It just drags it into the light. At the exact moment, a single miss costs the most. A bad free throw team can hide all season. In the finals, that crack becomes a canyon. Look at Dallas in 2024, 68% from the line across the finals, the worst of any team on the board, and they lost in 5. When you're already getting outplayed, and you're also leaving easy points on the floor every single night, the math just buries you. The line didn't beat them alone, but it helped dig the grave. Now, to be fair, a bad free throw line doesn't doom you on its own. The 2021 Bucks shot just 73% at the line and still won the title, so it's not an automatic death sentence. But here's the catch. Milwaukee was the better team, so they could absorb the leak. A weak free throw line doesn't sink you when you're winning comfortably. It sinks you in the close ones, when you've got no points to spare. Now add the second ingredient, the stakes. Finals games are tight. We're talking 1 and 2 possession games, decided in the final minute. And in a game that close, a free throw isn't just a point, it's a free point, an uncontested point that the defense never gets a say in. So every miss at the line is a gift you handed the other team. In a blowout, it vanishes. In a 1-point game, it's the whole story. And there's a reason coaches turn this into an actual weapon. It's called hacka. You find the one guy on the floor who can't shoot free throws and you foul him on purpose, late, just to drag his weakness into the spotlight. So the worst free throw shooter doesn't only hurt his team by accident, he becomes a target. The other bench is literally game planning to send him to the scariest spot on the floor. Quick interruption because now's the time. If this is changing how you watch the line, hit subscribe. I'm not going to beg, but I am going to ask. So hit it and I'll keep going.
So let's actually do the math on that spread. Take a team that shoots 86% against a team that shoots 68. Over a normal finals night of around 20 trips to the line, the good team turns those into about 17 points. The bad team about 13 or 14. That's 3 to 4 free points a game handed to one side before anyone runs a single play. 3 to 4 points, that doesn't sound like much, but remember the other thing we learned. These games are decided by 1 or 2 possessions, so that quiet free throw gap isn't a footnote. It's frequently the entire final margin, decided at the one spot on the floor nobody's even defending. And we are watching it set up in real time. Game 2 of this year's finals ended 105-104, a 1-point game. Think about that for a second. In a game like that, one missed free throw in the fourth quarter is the difference between winning the title and going home. Every trip to the line in a 1-point finals game carries the entire weight of the season. That's the fear made real. Now the honest part, because the average does hide things. Here's where the myth has a grain of truth. A league average of 78% can hide one specific guy falling apart. A career poor free throw shooter can get hunted late, fouled on purpose, and forced to win or lose the game from the line. And a wide open shot in the final seconds with a ring on it genuinely is a different animal than one in the first quarter. The pressure is real, it just lands on individuals, not on the league. So the free throw line isn't scary because everyone chokes. The data says they don't. It's scary because it waits. It waits for the weak shooter in the close game, in the final minute, when there's nowhere left to hide. That's the collision that decides titles. The easiest shot in the sport at the worst possible time for the one player who can't make it. And that's exactly why coaches sweat it all series long. You can scheme around a cold jump shooter, you can double the star, but you cannot help a teammate make his own free throw. He's alone out there, 15 feet, no defender, the whole season hanging on a shot he's made 10,000 times. That solitude is the scariest thing in basketball. And it's worth sitting with just how strange this fear actually is. The free throw is the only shot in the game that never changes. Same distance, same rim, no defender in every gym on earth. A player has taken hundreds of thousands of them, so the terror isn't physical, it's entirely in the head. That's what makes it the purest pressure test in all of sports. Just a man, a line, and everything riding on a routine. So when you watch the rest of this series, keep one eye on the line, not on the makes, on who is standing there in the last 3 minutes. Because the team that wins probably won't be the one that shot the prettiest from the field. It'll be the one that didn't flinch from 15 feet when a single point was the entire season. So I'll leave it with you. Is the free throw line really the scariest place in the finals, or is it the most overrated fear in the sport? And which team this year do you trust the least when it's tied with 10 seconds left? Tell me down in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe. We're in a race to 1,000 subscribers, so please join the family.